The current situation with Star Wars Fortnite is kind of crazy considering the implications it could have on the future of Star Wars games and on the future of Star Wars Battlefront. The news I've learned today about the Star Wars Fortnite event, which has been running for the past month, is certainly not something I was expecting, but is something part of me is pleased to see, and is basically an outcome of this entire Fortnite event being completely Star Wars themed, changing the map, changing all weapons, and forcing all Fortnite players to play Fortnite as something of a Star Wars game. But seemingly as a result of this, the last month has seen the Fortnite player count hit its lowest point since 2023. So not only are more people playing Battlefront 2, and we've had more players playing Battlefront 2 than any other time in the last 5 or 6 years, but Fortnite's Star Wars themed event has also seen a lot less people playing Fortnite.
Go for Papa Palpatine.
Also, if you are playing Fortnite or buying anything on Epic Games, consider using my creator code Bombastic. Hey everyone, it's Andrew. But the reason this could be good for the future of Star Wars games and the future of the Battlefront franchise is basically because it's showing Lucasfilm, it's showing Disney that Star Wars players don't necessarily want to play themed events in other games. They want dedicated Star Wars games, such as Battlefront 3. If you have a sec, please write in the comments of this video Battlefront 3. Spread the word, continue to do so. Let's make this thing happen.
Yes, Master.
But basically, because the player count is down in Fortnite and less people are playing this Star Wars season than other seasons, it's showing the game devs, it's showing the publishers that even though these events can be fun, perhaps it's not for everyone. Perhaps there is also a lot of value in making dedicated Star Wars experiences like Battlefront 3. Now, there could be a number of reasons that the Fortnite player base is low this month. First of all, I just think not everyone is into Star Wars. The Fortnite player count will likely go up again next season when all the Star Wars stuff is gone from the game, and maybe some people don't like dealing with the TIE fighters, the X-Wings, or even just don't like the Star Wars theme. But also, I think part of this is honestly likely due to Battlefront 2's resurgence. The fact so many more players are playing Battlefront 2 this month and are probably choosing to play Battlefront over going into Fortnite and playing the Star Wars themed event. What is going on here? But the flip side of this is that I think Fortnite and Disney would have made a lot of money this month considering the price of all the Star Wars cosmetics, the season pass. A lot of people like Star Wars unlocks. And even though the player count is lower, I'm just guessing that the revenue is still quite high considering people just want to play as Palpatine. People want to play as Luke, as the Clone Troopers, as Jar Jar Binks in Fortnite or in any game for that matter. So there's still a huge chance that even if the player count is down, they're still making heaps of money on this season. The problem moving forward here as well is that last year, Disney bought a $1.5 billion stake in Epic Games. So we're likely going to see more of these Star Wars themed crossovers in Fortnite or other themed crossovers with other Disney IPs such as Marvel, such as Pixar. It seems like Disney at this time want to continue to use Fortnite as a giant ad for Disney IPs and get people playing with their characters, and have also hinted at making more specific experiences within Fortnite. For example, they could be making an entirely themed Star Wars game mode. This is just speculation, but it seems like what they're planning moving forward, and that started last year when they bought this stake in Epic Games. So interesting with this that as big as Star Wars is, the fact Star Wars is one of the largest IPs in the world, most recognizable, you see it literally everywhere, but also Fortnite has quite a strong identity, so in some ways you could argue it was a bold choice for them to make an entire season themed around Star Wars that's not only specific cosmetics in a few locations on the map, but basically a Star Wars overhaul. This Fortnite season is basically one giant Star Wars mod pack for a Fortnite, converting the game into more of a Star Wars experience with only Star Wars blasters, Star Wars weapons, the ability to use lightsabers and force powers when you get them on the map, as well as the X-Wings, the TIE fighters, Star Wars themed interactions and NPCs on the map, AI Darth Vader.
Anger. A useful tool. Darth Jar Jar, if properly wielded.
The list goes on, but it's basically an entire Star Wars overhaul of Fortnite, which I'm assuming a lot of Fortnite players don't necessarily want. Even if you're a fan of Star Wars, perhaps you just want to go and play Fortnite as Fortnite is. And obviously this doesn't mean for everyone, this is just part of the community. And I do think I also need to go ahead and say that Fortnite's player count is still incredibly healthy. A lot of people are playing this game. There's over 1 million people playing at this second while I'm recording this video, and I'm sure the player counts are going to go up again in the future. But what does this mean for Battlefront Battlefront? What does this mean for the future of Star Wars games? Because in my eyes, this is really good news. The fact less people are playing this Fortnite update, and the fact Battlefront 2 has had its resurgence during the same month as this event, to me just adds more fuel to the fire that they should make Battlefront 3, that they should make new Star Wars multiplayer experiences, that is what people want, and that players are looking for that deeper sense of immersion to step fully into Star Wars instead.
Remember that the frontier of the rebellion is everywhere.
And recently, I've even seen people commenting and talking about Battlefront in the Fortnite Reddit, on Fortnite posts, saying, hey, this is kind of like Battlefront 3, but also people saying, if I wanted to play Star Wars and wanted to play a Star Wars experience, I'd just go and play Battlefront. Why are you forcing Star Wars on me in Fortnite, a game that maybe some players prefer just remains as Fortnite? My point of view on this is that they could be doing both. Why not continue to do Star Wars themed events in other games like they've been doing over the past few years, but also create more dedicated experiences, create more Star Wars games. The last AAA Star Wars game that launched was Star Wars Squadrons in 2020. It was 5 years ago. Battlefront 2 hasn't been updated in over 5 years now, and clearly what we've seen over the past few weeks is that people want to be playing Star Wars multiplayer games. 5 years feels like a long time between Star Wars multiplayer games, and not like we're getting another one this year, especially considering how many other Star Wars projects have released in the last few years, with all the TV series, all the animation, the return to the cinemas next year. There's so much Star Wars going on outside of the gaming space. Star Wars Hunters, I feel like, was their latest attempt at a Star Wars multiplayer game. That is now cancelled, doesn't exist anymore, and was basically a mobile game anyway. Not exactly for everyone. The message has never been clearer. Players want a new Star Wars multiplayer game. Players want Battlefront 3.
I'm doing my part.
And we have so much more evidence than ever to back all of this up. The resurgence and consistency in Battlefront 2's play counts over the past 2 weeks. Over 1 million players playing the game every single day.
With 1 million more well on the way.
And now the decline in the amount of people playing the Star Wars Fortnite update. Not everyone wants this experience, and as successful as Epic Games and Disney may think it's been, it's certainly not for everyone. I think from this point forward, there is so much more potential in the future of Star Wars games. We are headed in the right direction with the amount of noise we have made in the past month, with the amount of players playing Star Wars games, playing Battlefront, and it feels like from here, things could genuinely be on the upswing. There is no way people aren't seeing these numbers, seeing the research, and seeing what players actually want. Now it's just a matter of them listening. Now it's just a matter of them taking all of this information, taking the data, which is clearer than ever, and doing something about it, and delivering Battlefront 3 or a new Star Wars multiplayer game.
Oh, it's beautiful.
People are even saying the same thing about the Star Wars Destiny crossover that's coming later this year, being like, why is this even a thing? Why are we doing this? Why are we adding Star Wars to other games? And in a way, trying to revive them, or trying to just make more money off of the Star Wars IP and selling skins. It doesn't necessarily feel like a strong long-term strategy for the future of Star Wars gaming. And now we have to argue there is so much more money for them to make in a new Star Wars multiplayer game. The evidence is all there, man. And part of me making this video is just trying to present all that, be like, hey, here's more evidence. Here's what players actually want. The numbers say so. We all say so. We're vocalizing that. So hopefully someone can do something about it.
Just do it!
So what did you think of this Star Wars season in Fortnite? Did you play it? Do you care about Fortnite at all? And do you think these kind of things can coexist with a new Star Wars game, with a new Battlefront? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget about my code Bombastic if you are playing Fortnite. Also, come follow me on Instagram, Twitter, join my Discord and TikTok. Come and tell me why you want Battlefront 3. Write Battlefront 3 everywhere. Keep doing it. We cannot stop. And if you want to know which developer could actually make Battlefront 3, then watch this video here. I explored every single possibility of who could actually make it happen. And thanks for watching. Always remember,
Stay bombastic.